Welcome back to Maple Sumo. I've got my Kimarite shirt on. It's day 9 of the Haru Basho. Let's get into it. Kyujo announcement today. Onokatsu is back out again with that left ankle. No kidding. He should have been out the whole time. I don't know why he came back and just aggravated the injury and a couple more losses. Stupid move. That's fine. First up in the top division, Asahakaryu at 5-3 versus Kinbozan at 4-4. This is the first time they're meeting, and Kinbozan goes in for another double-handed attack to the face like he did yesterday, but Asahakaryu got in low and tight, and with that leverage advantage, he used to eventually power him out. He moves up to 6-3. Chiyoshoma up against Fuji Seun. Both are at 5-3. Chiyo came in low with thrusts that were hard, but Fuji sort of weathered them and then stayed low to get in and eventually push him out. So Fuji Seun moves on to 6-3. Great start from him. Asakoryu versus Fuji Ryoga. Both were at 5-3. Asa came in sharp but got taken to the edge with a face push. Stayed close and got a frontal belt grip, then pulled and swung hard for a Shitatanage win. Great move from Asakoryu. Mitakeumi at 3-5 versus Hoshoryu at 2-6. Now Hoshoryu came in attacking hard, but Mitakeumi escaped to the right just at the edge and pivoted for a slap to the side to get his second win in a row now, improving to 4-5. Hoshoryu looks to be more or less done for the tournament. He'll try a couple more times, but I think he's pretty much finished. Shishi versus Nishiki Fuji, both coming in at an even 4-4. Shishi came in with a fast inside right and commandingly marched Nishiki Fuji out. This was not a contest at all. Shishi, I think he was in a new belt today, so maybe some of that new belt luck rubbed off, and he just marches him out. Tobizaru at 2-6 comes in against Roga at 3-5. Now, Tobizaru off the Tachiai does a great job of keeping Roga off the belt, and he does a nice little swim move for a Hikiotoshi hand pull down right at the edge. Gonoyama, our first of the leader, coming in at 7-1 versus Koto Eho at 6-2. Now, Gonoyama was on a 4-match win streak, and he showed his full Fright Train power, slamming hard forward into Koto Eho with his hands, both getting under the armpits, forcing him out quickly, and snaps Koto Eho's 5-match win streak. This is actually Gonoyama's fastest Kachikoshi ever, Kachikoshi being an 8-1 winning record for the tournament, so he's guaranteed a promotion, but right now he's fighting for that tournament win. So we'll see if he manages to maintain momentum over the next few days here. Asanoyama at 4-6 versus Tamawashi at 2-6. Sorry, Asanoyama was at 4-4. Asa leads their historical matchups 5-4. Tamawashi came out strong with some great throat thrusts, taking him to the edge, but also put the brakes on there, slowed him down, managed to grab an underhook, and then converted that into a Sukuinage beltless arm throw perfectly. He's now avenged his 2 back-to-back losses. He's back in the win column, and we'll see if he manages to finish 3 more wins before the end. Oshoma at 3-5 versus Tokihayate 4-4. Oshoma started with some thrusts in there, grabbed at the neck, and then belt to throw an easy Uwatanage arm throw over Tokihayate. So both men are now 4-5. Shodai at 5-3 got the free Fusensho win over Onokatsu, who I hope stays out of the rest of the tournament and gets healed up. But Shodai going to 6-3, I think he needed that a little bit with his last couple of weird losses there. Ichi Yamamoto at 4-4 comes up against Hakuno Fuji 1-3-4, who was out with that ligament injury to his left big toe. Ichi Yamamoto struggled to stay low against Hakuno Fuji's a very compact little tank, but he couldn't stay low, and he also couldn't get his thrusting started. Now, his only advantage is that Hakuno Fuji's big toe has basically taken all the strength out of his left leg. He really can't put a ton of pressure on it. But they lock up. Ichi had a better grip and took a minute to try to unsuccessfully break down Hakuno Fuji's balance. Hakuno Fuji then pivoted his hips in and tried for an inside leg trip, which didn't succeed and had him off balance, and Ichi Yamamoto tried to convert to a force out there to the edge while he was still off balance, but Hakuno Fuji managed to pull a quick maneuver and slip out to the left and twist Ichi Yamamoto down with what's called an Uwata Hiniri twisting overarm throw to get the win right at the edge. It was pretty chaotic for him. He definitely is a guy who prefers to, utilize his strength on the belt, but we'll take the wins as we can get him when you're beat up the way he is. Next, Ura at 4-4, hometown favorite, versus Koto Shoho, one of the other leaders at 7-1. Ura came in overextended and nearly got slapped down immediately. He tried a scrambling recovery, but Koto Shoho followed up with the imbalance there, right to the edge, and then blasted him out for the win. So he gets his Kachikoshi. He's at 8-1 and maintains his share of the lead. Abi at 3-5 is back today. 0-3-5 is back today versus Chirano Umi at 3-5. Abi's lower back was, fractured in practice like a month ago, and that's what's caused him issues. Now he's heavily taped up on his back. He's got some elbow wraps too, but those don't seem to be related to anything in particular. I've seen him in those before. I think if his elbows are giving him a little bit of trouble. But he started with his signature double-handed throat attack, that classic Abi Sumo, and then kept it going long enough to sort of destabilize Chirano Umi, and then did his classic move of, after all this aggression up front, suddenly pulls you back down. So gets a win. Good for him. He didn't look too banged up. Like, he didn't look like he was in pain, but obviously with that back taped up the way it is, who knows what kind of stuff they're injecting him with just to keep him focused and pain-free. So he does have an automatic losing record for how many days he was out, but looks like he's trying to sneak a couple wins in just to maintain better position for next tournament. Wakataka Kage at 3-5 comes up against Yoshino Fuji at 4-4. This one was over pretty quickly. Wakataka Kage stymied Yoshino Fuji's furious attacks. He lets Yoshino's footing get away from him and turns it into a quick hand pull down. Yoshino Fuji looked like a cartoon character the way his legs were pinwheeling at the end there. He just slid and couldn't get his balance back, and quick slap down. So both men are now at 4-5. Fujinokawa at 3-5 comes up against Atami Fuji at 5-3. Now, if you look at these guys, there's a 76 kilogram weight difference here. Atami Fuji is an absolute giant compared to Fujinokawa. Fuji, though, comes in and sets the tone early with a hard right slap. Atami looked calm and to try and settle things down, stabilize, and tries a couple of throw attempts, but Fuji is wiggly and manages to get out of them and then get an inside position under the armpit and force him back and out. So an upset victory for him there. Great job by Fujinokawa. Wakamoto Haru at 1-7 is fighting for his tournament life against Hirado Umi at 5-3. They come together hard, banging heads. Hirado Umi gets in and is forcing him out, and it looks to be all over, but right at the edge, Wakamoto Haru manages to grab an arm and pull off an Uchari backward pivot throw right at the last second to snatch the win away. It looked so rough, but yeah, he manages to fight for his life and keep his hopes alive of possibly, if he wins 6 in a row, it'd be unbelievable for him to snatch a Kachikoshi out of the jaws of defeat. He goes up to 2-7, but yeah, great move from him at the edge there, but not the way he wants to win. He wants to be a little more convincing. Kirishima at 7-1 comes up against Daisho 4-4. Now Daisho played spoiler yesterday for Hoshoryu, so if he was hoping to try and do it again today. Kirishima leads their history though, 15-11. They come together hard, then separate. Daisho sort of backs up, resets, tries to come charging at him again, but Kiri responded by slapping his hands down, and then a quick little dodge to the left and slapped his neck and belt down to get the quick slap down win, stay at 8-1 with his Kachikoshi, with his tournament hopes still alive. He's in the leader pack, and he's looking just 2-3 wins away from securing an Ozeki repromotion. I think he needs 3. I don't think they'll give it to him with 32 wins in the last 3, but 33 for sure. I think he'll get it. So good job for him. Oho at 3-5 comes up against Kotozakura 4-4. These are two guys who have Yokozuna grandfathers who are trying to, they're really trying to make their name on the sport. Kotozakura's done a better job getting to Ozeki, staying at Ozeki. Oho is struggling to find where he excels. He's a good, consistent wrestler, but he's not a break the mold kind of wrestler. They push and thrust against each other in the middle of the ring, back and forth, for Kotozakura's size just gives him the advantage to get the momentum forward and thrust Oho out of the ring. So he improves to 5-4. Aonishiki, our Ukrainian Ozeki at 3-5, comes up against Takayasu at 6-2. Takayasu suffering that heartbreaking defeat yesterday to drop back out of the lead into the chase pack here. Aonishiki manages to stay low, get his low grip that he usually likes to go for, and ends his 3-match losing streak, forcing Takayasu out with just some classic thrusts to the waist at the end. So good for him for getting his mental back. I hope he can convert this into having a winning record this tournament. Obviously, the Yokozuna run is toast, but yeah, I hope he can actually recover and get a positive winning record. Takayasu, you hate to see it, but it's not unexpected for him to sort of collapse mid-tournament. Finally, Hoshoryu at 6-2 versus Takanosho at 7-1. Hoshoryu fell back out of the lead yesterday with that loss to Daisho. Takanosho trying to stay in the lead today. Now, that being said, Hoshoryu leads their historical matchups 10-3 and has won the last 4 in a row. Starts off, Takanosho gets some great thrusts at the start, but Hoshoryu weathered them. He used his movement to reposition them, set him up on the inside position so that Takanosho was back to get against the rope, and then fires out with his counterattack to shove him hard backwards and out. So he stays at 7-2 as part of the chase pack there. Takanosho drops back out of the lead into the chase pack with him as well. So we've got, right now, 3 guys tied for the first place. We've got Kirishima at 8-1, tied with Koto Shoho at 8-1, and the last one there, Gonoyama. So all 3 of those men right now are fighting hard for that championship, but it's still anyone's game. They've still got, 6 more days of matches? This could go in any direction. Some of those guys have a much harder week ahead of them. Anyways, thanks for checking in. We'll get to our double-digit day tomorrow on day 10, and hopefully have some good news to share about any of these injuries. Thanks.
Maple Sumo is a no-plot-only lore production. Check out our other podcasts at noplotonlylore.com.